Thank you.
Okay.
All right, I'll start then. Good afternoon, guys. My name is Maliha Mujahid, and I'm a high school student living in Qatar. We will be adding some links in the chat box below, which you'll need when we do the activities later on. So keep a note of them, and we'll let you know which ones to open when the time comes.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sumayya Ameerudeen, and I too am a high school student living in Qatar. At the end of this workshop, we will have a little Q&A, so you guys can keep note of your questions, and we'll answer them later on.
So right now, we're going to start off with a little activity. I hope you guys are all listening, and there's a link in the chat box. So you guys can click on the link for link activity 1. And you guys can also head over to menti.com and add the code that's on your screen right now. Let us know if you guys are experiencing any difficulties as well. Guys, I hope you're not confused as to what you're supposed to do, because using Mentimeter can be a bit difficult for the first time. So, okay, the code is on the screen. It's, okay, yeah, great. Okay, so basically, once you're done with that, you're just supposed to enter some words or maybe a situation that comes to your mind when you think of anxiety. It's all anonymous, so don't hesitate and be honest. Right, I see confusion, worry, nervous, irrational, frustration, fright, panic, fear, stress. Yep. Guys, there's 43 people in this room right now, so it would be great if all of you could join. I see so much people not liking me. Yes. Disappointing people, panic attack. Oh, it's okay if your internet connection's a bit slow. Sumayya, we can see your, there's something on your
Sorry.
screen. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. So there's 9 people now. That's great. Bewildered, agitated, worried, perplexed. When you go to menti.com, okay, yeah, sure, I'll send the link again. Click on the link for activity 1, and you're supposed to, when you go to Mentimeter or menti.com, you'll see a box that comes up where you can type out what you want to type out. Basically, you're supposed to just type out a word or maybe a situation that comes to your mind when you think of anxiety or social anxiety. Okay, I see 11 people. That's awesome. Panic, insecurity, afraid, wow, foreboding, irrational, feeling ill, disappointing people, yes. Disturbance. Guys, keep on coming. We all want to see what you guys have. Just a minute. Okay, how about, okay, so some of you are having problems with it. So how about you guys go to menti.com and enter in the code. Okay, we have 17 people and we have stress, we have pain, we have a lot of sick, we have a lot of things coming in. That's great, guys. Yeah, menti.com, that's it. Confusion. Okay, yeah, Sumayya, can you just let us know the code again?
Yeah, one
It's
second. Let me just.
447158. I'll
Oh,
put
the
it in.
code is on the top there.
Yeah, 447158.
The code is at the top of the screen if you guys need
It
it.
is, but yeah, 4471. I'll just type it in the chat box so it's easier for people. Yeah, that's the code. Thank you, Andrea. So I see 18 people. That's a great thing, guys. No hunger, scared, disappointing people. Yep. Hard to breathe. Yes. Panic attack, life, feeling ill. All of these are exactly what it is. It's okay, guys. So for those of you who can't type, it's okay. You can just send it in the Zoom group chat if that's okay with you guys. Okay, guys. So we're going to be moving on. If you guys wanna just okay. Okay, I see a lot of things. So guys, looking at the responses, it's very clear that many of you are actually talking about social anxiety, right? Because we've asked you to put in things about anxiety. And social anxiety is something that a lot of people experience, especially in their teenage years. And most of the time, sometimes we don't know about it. Sometimes we're confused as to, what we're going through. But all of the responses that we got are in one way or another an example of what social anxiety is and how each one of you have experienced it. Okay, over to you, Sumayya. Sumayya?
Sorry, I was muted. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you're wondering now, what is social anxiety? To begin, you should know that feeling some amount of nervousness or anxiety is normal in new situations. The problem arises when this starts affecting your daily life and impacts it negatively. According to Beyond Blue, people can experience social anxiety in two types of situations. The first is social situations, such as talking to new people or ordering your food, and also in performance situations, like public speaking, playing an instrument, or singing. It is widely agreed that social anxiety generally begins in the teenage years and should be addressed as soon as possible. The earlier it is, the easier it becomes to deal with it. The first thing that needs to be understood is that it's okay. It's okay to have social anxiety or any other mental health problem for that matter. There's no shame in it. And if anyone tries to make you feel bad about it, they're wrong. Because as stated by the World Health Organization, 1 in 4 people will suffer from some kind of mental health problem at some point in their lives. You're not alone, and it's not your fault. We don't get to decide whether we have these problems. There are many factors at play like genetics, personal lives and relationships, stress, and so much more. It's just something that happens. The best we can do is try to tackle it when we see that the problem is there. Several celebrities with anxiety disorders, as you can see here. Mental health issues do not discriminate, and it happens to the best of us. There's no shame in it. A lot of these people have done fantastic work. If they can do it, why can't you? Here's a short clip of Chris Evans talking about his anxiety.
Just a minute. Just let me share computer sound. And are you guys able to hear
Maybe the
it?
thing you're most scared of
I hope you all can hear it. I'll just make the volume a bit louder. And yeah.
is exactly what you should
I
do.
love what I do still. I have passion for it.
Whatever it was, I just tried to dominate it.
I want you to say your name and tell me what you do.
I'm Chris Evans. I'm an actor.
If you could give yourself advice, like look back and talk to the 12-year-old version of yourself,
Yeah.
what advice would you give?
You know what I'd say, and it sounds, it might seem oversimplified, but it's profound. I'd say shh. It's been a big thing for me. Shh. You know, it's so funny how noisy my brain is, and Everyone's brain is noisy. It's what it does. It makes thoughts. And the problem is, I think in most of our lives, the root of suffering is following that brain noise and listening to that brain noise and actually identifying with it as if it's who you are. That's just the noise your brain makes, you know, and more often than not, it probably doesn't have much to say that's going to help you.
All right, so Sumayya, if you can.
Yeah. So we're gonna have another activity, and this one's gonna be more like a discussion. We want you guys to tell us what you think about what Chris Evans said. Do you think he was right? What did you get from this clip? This activity will happen in the Zoom chat box, so you guys can just go ahead and drop your responses there.
So I think until they're typing it out, we can share what we think about it. So Sumayya, if you want to go first.
Yeah, okay. For me, this clip, honestly, finding it was really helpful because I think it kind of helped me understand that just because I have negative thoughts doesn't mean I have to agree with them. It helped me separate like who I was from the things that from the noise that my brain created.
Yeah. So Mario says that I agree. Sometimes when I overthought stuff, I end up not doing them. And yeah, when your brain makes these sounds, like he said, you end up, you know, because you're overthinking it so much, you end up not doing it because you get scared of what might happen, you know, because of the consequences that your brain puts ahead. Arya, oh yes, I agree with him. Many a times we have really negative thoughts which don't help at all. Yes, I agree with what he's saying as he spoke about separating the negative self-talk from the actual facts of what's going on. Mario, as a person with a bit of ADHD, appreciate that sometimes I just need to act, not overthink. Thanks, you're welcome. Yes, he was right because the brain is the only one who makes us feel differently about things, negatively or positively. Exactly the point. He is right because why should we think of negative stuff that will stop you and no use of it? Yeah, why think about like situations from a negative perspectives? You know, sometimes we just need to go ahead and do them instead of like um, letting our brain take over. I think he was right to just say it is a noise your brain makes. Yes. That's what I love about what he says. This implies that it is natural and something which you almost cannot control, and so we should not try. However, it is natural to try want to control it as we are human. Well said. It depends. Sometimes the noises in our brain are really negative and overthink so much. It doesn't help much and do nothing. Yeah, and because of these noises, you know, these negative noises, sometimes we stop ourselves from being the best versions of ourselves. So it can really stop us from, you know, achieving what we want to. An ounce of action is worth a ton of talking. Yeah, well said. I actually go with Chris Evans. We must filter out the negative thoughts and think positive, and that's when success will run behind us. Yes. I found the video very comforting to know that big celebrities like him go through stuff like this too, and that we're not alone. Yeah, that's the point, you know. It's not just us. Everybody in this world has experienced social anxiety at some point in their lives. It's quite true to just tell your mind, shut up. A sense of peace and tranquility in the midst of the noise is what would give away for most important voice in your head to speak up. Yeah, like he said, shh. I really like when he just says shh because it's like, you know, it tells us that sometimes we do need to just shut up. Um, yep, I agree as well. I often overthink a lot before I do things and it makes me feel inferior. It's quite true to just tell your mind, shut up. Yeah, you send this to me privately, Nicole. And it's also comforting as everyone in the world goes through it too. Yeah, great responses, guys. You get exactly what he's trying to say. That was amazing. So let's move on to, guys. I think that's it. So now we're going to be talking about how to identify it. So right now, let's say that you have a friend whom you're concerned might have social anxiety. How exactly can you make sure that they're not just being shy and going through something that's serious and needs to be treated, you know? Well, there are many unknowing things that people do when they have social anxiety. If your friend avoids situations such as meeting new people or public speaking, or they're just spending too much time alone, you might be concerned. Maybe they're always saying that they're bored or lonely or have fewer friends than most people, etc. If you see more than one of these symptoms, you have a reason for concern, most definitely. This is when you can and need to ask them questions like, I've noticed you've been avoiding this particular situation. Is there a reason? Or have you been feeling well? You seem a bit down. These could help get the conversation started, and remember not to push them too hard too suddenly. Ensure that they're willing to talk to you, because pushing them might just do the opposite of being helpful, causing them to close up even more. I've seen many of my friends struggle with it, and yet I know that if I ever talk to them about it, they would be maybe uncomfortable and, possibly offended, though this might not always be the case. Like, everybody is different in their own way. They might even distance themselves from me in the worst case scenario. This is where the importance of knowing how to help others comes in. You need to be careful and keep in mind the consequences of everything that you will do and say. I've seen them hesitate and doubt themselves. I've noticed them wanting help, and I've noticed them not being able to ask for it, and so much more. We need to understand that we must be there for our friends, though it might not always mean to talk to them, and instead just, be there for them without them necessarily knowing about it. There are many ways to distinguish if it's just shyness or social anxiety specifically as well. Shyness usually disappears once people get comfortable with others, whom they weren't familiar with before. But if it's social anxiety, on the other hand, they remain anxious as they get closer to another person. Shy people are also very optimistic in many situations. They do not criticize themselves on every little thing that they do, whereas people affected by social anxiety tend to be overly pessimistic and overthink situations from a negative perspective, as we could see in the responses that we heard in the previous activity.
Now, maybe you're wondering, what is social anxiety like? Well, the symptoms of social anxiety can vary from person to person, but a few of the common ones are blushing, headaches, making little to no eye contact, or always bringing a friend along to social events. Maliha and I both have experience with social anxiety. For me, it's mostly in performance situations. In the 8th grade, I signed up for an inter-school debate competition. I was so nervous on the days leading up to the event, but I focused on practicing instead. On the day of the competition, I was terrified. I was shaking and I could hardly breathe. I heard them call my team up, and I was still freaking out as I got on the stage, and before I knew it, it was my turn to speak. I walked up to the mic and faced my whole school, and I froze. I stood there for 3 minutes and I couldn't say a word. After I got off the stage and managed to calm down, I was horrified. But later, I decided to try again next year. And I did. I felt the same, but I was determined to do better. The same thing happened that year. But the year after that, I had to give a speech in front of the same crowd to run for student council, and I was still as petrified as the first 2 times, but I managed to go up on stage and give my whole speech. There were a few moments where I got stuck and felt anxious, but I spoke. I ended my speech feeling incredibly happy and very accomplished. I still have to deal with a lot of anxiety during and before performances, but finishing that speech really gave me a lot of confidence.
Yep. My experience was a little different. Personally, I did not know I had it. All I knew was that I got really anxious about social events, and because of that, I kept messing things up. I wasn't able to keep up with my own expectations, which made me feel dejected and upset. Back when I was younger, around the 8th grade, social anxiety wasn't even the tiniest part of my life. It actually started when I became really active in Model UN. So it wasn't precisely public speaking or extracurricular activities that triggered it for me, but it was solely MUN. Having people I knew around me made me really anxious. I lost all the confidence to the point, where after a few conferences, I avoided it altogether. Though I try not to let it get to me and stop me from doing things that I want to do, it has become a part of my life that's getting harder to control day by day. As someone who has had it for quite a while now, I can confidently say that social anxiety should not be taken lightly. It's been there for quite a while for me, but you know what makes me really proud of myself? It's the fact that despite not being able to achieve what I wanted to in the MUN field, I did not give up on my dreams and kept participating in other activities. And because of this, I have even been getting better at MUNs recently. We also did ask a few other people about their social anxiety experiences, and here's what they've said. The first one's Manal, and I hope you guys can hear it.
Since my mom isn't in the country as of now, my dad asked me to book our appointments over the phone, and whenever I do so, I type out a script and think of various possibilities the operator might respond to, so that I stay prepared. But despite that, I still do feel scared while contacting them, to which I feel like I would burst into tears. This reminds me of another incident where my dad asked me to book another appointment at the hospital, which left me frightened. My mom so happened to be with me in a call during that time, to which I told her how scared I was. She ended up having me put her on speaker, to which I dialed the hospital so that she could talk to them for me. I also avoid ordering my own food and have my friends do it if possible.
All right, so that's it for Manal. And then there's another person, Taylor, and here's what she said.
It's hard to come up with an isolated instance, as any public setting makes me nervous. Even walking down my driveway to retrieve the garbage bins can rev me up, but rarely do I have an anxiety attack doing so. For the most part, it characterizes itself by racing thoughts or a pounding heart. Sometimes even my palms get sweaty, or I just get, I suppose, restless. I definitely bounce my leg a lot, or I fidget with pencils or paper or whatever is near me just to keep my hands busy. Most of these thoughts are admittedly narcissistic in the means it is typically centered around myself. Like, is someone staring at me? Are they laughing because I did something wrong? Did I have a wardrobe malfunction and people are now catching on? Am I walking funny, or am I too animated while I talk? My brain constantly critiques what I do, and I often scramble to adjust myself, even if something isn't wrong. Eating in front of people is a living nightmare to me, whether it be at home or out in a restaurant. I'm particular about the way I eat and how I position myself. My hand always has to be covering my mouth, although I do practice proper etiquette by eating with my mouth closed and just not smacking or anything. And I constantly make sure to wipe my hands or lips off with a napkin. I will not allow myself to eat in large portions, as I don't want people to think I'm a pig, but I try not to eat too little because I don't want to slow the group down. It's such a draining and time-consuming disorder. As of right now, I haven't found any other way to ease the anxiety besides taking the time to take a step out and isolate myself for a little bit, mostly to compose my thoughts or just myself.
Well, here's a story from one more person. Here's what she said. In my primary school days, I always had a hard time moving to different schools. My social anxiety didn't allow me to talk to other people easily. I was fearful of making a fool out of myself or making them dislike me. This is why around that time, it would It would take me at least 2 years to grow close to and trust people. However, when I moved to middle school, something changed. I was determined to overcome my social anxiety. I remember walking in on the first day and immediately talking to the girls I sat with. It didn't turn out well, but I continued to try to socialize after that. And in just 2 weeks, I had already created a friend group, and I was slowly starting to trust them. After that year, I rarely had social anxiety. Having social anxiety completely wrecked my confidence. I couldn't partake in many social activities anymore. So I would always purposely put myself in situations that required it, even if it made me uncomfortable. I think that it's important to push yourself, but not beyond what you can handle. I also think it's important to look out for yourself at all times and appreciate the decisions and accomplishments you've made. When I would be at a big social event or come back from a conference, I would always take time out for myself afterward. With social anxiety, it's still important to make sure you don't push yourself beyond your limits. I would also recognize and be proud of every challenge I faced, because building on small achievements can help you grow and feel better about yourself. Nobody else knows you like you do, and nobody else cares for you like you do. So do what seems appropriate for your situation. So how do you deal with this anxiety? The most effective option is to see a professional. Speaking to a professional will allow you to discover different techniques and see which one works best for you. It'll reap the best results. However, we would like to give you a few tools that may help you handle the anxiety. Challenge your negative thoughts, identify them, and analyze them. This will allow you to highlight your positive traits. It also helps to focus on others. Anxiety is not as visible as you think. Focus on the person speaking rather than your negative thoughts. This can help put you at ease and make you more comfortable. Think about the present moment and don't focus on previous slip-ups or future possibility. Cross each bridge when you get to it. Many professionals also suggest learning to focus on your breathing. Sit comfortably with one hand on your chest and the other on your stomach. Take a slow and deep breath in for 4 seconds, hold it for 2 seconds, and exhale from your mouth for 6 seconds. Focus on your breathing and continue this until you can relax. It also helps to build some anti-anxiety habits like avoiding or limiting caffeine, staying active, improving your diet, and getting enough sleep.
Right. So now it's about like how we handle anxiety. So personally, when I get anxious, I usually drink loads of water. I'm pretty sure you've seen me do it right now as well. And I try to relax myself constantly. Breathing exercises, like Sumayya just mentioned, don't exactly work for me a lot of the time. So if they don't work for you, don't worry about it. Everybody has their own way of dealing with things, and you need to be understanding with yourself and learn that it's okay to take your time figuring things out for yourself, especially when it comes to your mental health and anxiety. There's always 2 things I like to keep in mind to calm myself down. That it's okay if I mess things up, and that people around me are understanding and won't judge me on my actions. Does it work? Not necessarily, but it helps me, regain my composure, and that in itself is something I count as a victory. I keep pushing myself to get through whatever it is, just like Aisha did, and despite it being so difficult. But it works 95% of the time, and nothing goes wrong. Though it's very important for us to not push ourselves too much, it does also help in calming the anxiety. As once you're done with that particular thing, once you're through with it, you know that you did it. And if you didn't, you've got to tell yourself that there's always more opportunities waiting for you, just like Aisha did.
My main issue is struggling to breathe. So I use breathing exercises to calm down and get enough oxygen. If I make eye contact, I go completely blank, so I also avoid that when I'm on stage. It also helps to think to myself that no one was focusing on me. I would do this as I'm walking around to put myself at ease.
Getting treatment is also very important. I cannot highlight how important it is. In a book published by the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, they found that untreated social anxiety can lead to the following: loneliness, because people struggle to make friends and might not have anyone to talk to; low self-esteem, because people struggle to make friends again, and they think because that they're struggling making friends, they might think that because of that there's something wrong with them, because they're struggling to do something that comes very easily to many. And lastly, depression, which can be caused by loneliness and low self-esteem. Social anxiety can also cause poor academic performance, which can cause more issues in the longer run. Now, guys, get prepared. We're going to have another little activity on Menti. I will drop the links again, and you guys can click on the link for activity 3, or you guys can once again go to menti.com and enter the code 447158. I'll drop the code as well. I hope it's not too much of a hassle. 447158. And we want you guys to basically tell us something. It could be one or two things that you like or that you love about yourself. Anything that comes to your mind when you think about what are your assets? What do you think is good about yourself? Oh, thank you, Arya. So we're going to be waiting for a while. Oh, music. Yes, music helps a lot. You guys, we're waiting for more of you to join. We're going to wait for a while and then we're going to move on. My sense of humor, yes.
I love the diversity in what you guys like about yourself. Some of you have skills. For others, it's like physical attributes. It's really nice to see all of this.
Yes, it is. I think I'm maybe a little smart. I'm pretty sure you're very smart that you're saying that. Leadership skills, yes. Reading, and oh, I love reading too. And Sumayya loves reading as well, so we can relate. Acting skills, big curls. I love curls.
Oh my god, you're a black belt? That's so cool.
I know, I've always wanted to be like, I've wanted to learn those things. You have 6 medals, that's awesome. Sumayya, could you scroll down, because I'm pretty sure more of them are
sorry,
coming in.
1 second.
Okay, slowly though, I want to read all of them. The ability to generate humor, sense of humor. Yep, guys.
Oh, honestly, having people that you help is so nice. I feel like it always makes you feel better.
Yeah, so I go a bit slow because I want to go through most of them.
Oh, sorry.
Just go to the black belt one so we can read the ones around that as well. Creativity and innovativeness and imagination, sports. My ideas seem to be nice. That's awesome. Help family, friends to smile. That's so cool. Not a lot of people, are able to do that. So that's great. Painting and drawing.
My ginger hair. I think ginger hair is really
cute.
cute.
For the life of me. Oh yeah, you have. Oh, dude, I love ginger hair. That's so cute. Singing skills, singing myself. That's awesome. I cannot sing.
I love that you can stay calm under
I
pressure.
can paint, write,
so
reading. Yeah, exactly. My sympathy. That's great. That's great. Sympathy is so important. My dedication when I do things. My business. Oh, that's so cool. I like that I take risks and can put my fears aside.
That's amazing. I think that can always lead to some really good things.
Yeah, that's one of the ways you deal with anxiety as well, right? You keep what you're thinking and what you're feeling aside and you just focus on the main thing at the moment. Curly hair. I love curly hair. I have frizzy hair, so it doesn't work. My friends can always rely on me. That's so good. That's awesome. I like that idea, Chris. I can paint. I love spending time with my grandparents. That's
My
awesome.
dedication. Yeah, I think dedication is really
Yeah,
important.
it is. Minding my own business, I guess. That is great. Keep it up. Empathy is very important as well, just like sympathy. My ability to plan ahead, yes. Ability to plan ahead is something not a lot of people can do, so that's great.
I wish I could
Competitiveness,
plan ahead. I'm pretty lost most of
yeah,
the time.
same. I'm short and have bad social anxiety, but I'm glad I don't let people. That's great. Okay, first of all, I think there's a lot of stigma around people who are short or too tall. And I'm honestly so confused because I have friends who are way too short, and it's not a problem because it's so great having them, you know. We shouldn't define people by the properties that they have physically, you know, the features that they have physically, personally, I believe. Robotics. Oh, I know robotics.
Robotics, that's cool.
Yeah, I do robotics. I've built robots, so I like that I know how to advise people, but the problem is I can't advise myself. That's for a lot of people, right? Because a lot of people know how to, you know, what other people can do, but you get confused when it's about yourself. My eyes, and that I'm a trusted person. I really want to see your eyes. I'm pretty sure they're beautiful. Considering everyone's opinions, yes, that is amazing. Mathematical skills. Okay,
Wow,
okay.
I wish. I really wish,
Teach us.
man.
We're really bad at math, both of us. If you like helping others with anxiety and depression, that's great. That's
Oh,
great.
same. That's kind of why we're doing this.
Yeah, yeah. We also have like future plans of like
I'm pretty good at writing. That's great.
yeah, us too. There's a lot
I
of
think I've
opportunities
always had like a lot of love for writing and
writing.
like words in
Yeah,
general.
yeah. Because like, you know, words are like those one things that I can use to express myself without any hesitation. And there's like so many words. I love expressing myself with like my words. Okay, guys. So we've got to move on. It was my musical engineering maths. This is great. This was awesome. What I love about, okay, let's just say what we love about ourselves. We don't have much time, so we need to really get on. Um, uh, I I don't know what I love about myself. I think a lot of you mentioned writing, and then of course, being there for other people. And then Sumaya, what about you?
I think I would say my writing as well, and also my empathy.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. We
Yeah.
don't have much time. We're running out of time. So we did have a few things about, you know, how what is the world doing for this. So basically, I'm just going to summarize this. The UN released an action plans for the years 2013 to 2020. The action plan has around 9 clauses, and it's supported by, you know, WHO, World Health Organization, and there's also going to be a future guideline, a thing that the UN is working on right now, along with the SDGs. So yeah, wish I could elaborate on this, but I'm really sorry, guys. Let's move on to resources. We really want you guys to go through this. Sometimes it's a bit hard to find the right tools to help you, you know. So we've collected a few useful resources that we found, and we think it'll be helpful for you guys to use these particular resources because we've gone through them thoroughly and we've made sure that they're all easy to use as well as reliable.
So the first resource is a 30-day challenge. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it gives you a task that you need to complete every day for a whole month. These tasks are in the resource itself, and all you need is a bit of commitment.
Okay, yeah. The other resource is a website service where you can basically talk to a bot. It helps you deal with anxiety, depression, or any other problem. It uses methods that are verified by professionals to be the most effective, and it goes by the name 7 Cups.
Third one is something that we think is extremely useful. Challenging negative thoughts is a way of coping with these thoughts that impact our decisions and can also trigger our social anxiety. These thoughts need to be dealt with in order to not let them get out of hand. The worksheet asks you to fill out answers for a series of questions. These questions are supposed to guide you into figuring out the root of this thought and helping you combat it.
That concludes the resources. we hope that they prove to be useful in the future. If you have any questions, you guys are dropping them in the chat box, so that's great. Any doubts about the resources, drop them as well. So now we are going to, so we really hope that this was helpful, this whole workshop. We will now be taking any questions that you guys have. But before that, if you have any more questions, you guys can contact us at _fear-of-fright on Instagram, which you can see on the screen right now. You can also message us if you just need to talk, basically. We're providing a place for people to talk about their struggles anonymously, Telonym, which we will be introducing on our Instagram account today itself. And you can also recommend it to friends.
So on our Instagram page, we will also have posts explaining anxiety on a broader spectrum. And we'll use the platform to give you and other people more tips and ways to manage your anxiety. You'll need to turn on post notifications so that you don't miss out on them. And it's still a new account, but we're dedicating it to helping our community improve their mental health. So we hope you guys follow it.
All right, guys, so we are very short on time. So I'm just going to be going through the questions along with Sumayya. Okay, so let me just go up a bit. Questions.
Can I just quickly add?
Yeah, sure.
If anyone would like to say their question themselves, because we're a smaller group, feel free. So just stick your hand up in the participants section, and I'm sure they'll be addressed. But we only have a couple minutes. I'm really sorry, guys.
Yeah, really sorry for that. But like we mentioned, we do have an Instagram page. So if you have any questions that you want to, address and want us to address, or you have anything you want to talk to us about, we're totally there for you guys. We'll be online as well most of the time. So I'll just start addressing questions while has anyone, okay, Sanya, if you could.
Yes, I feel that I face these problems, but there's like no one to listen to me because right now we can't meet our friends. So what should I do? Because at home also my parents are always busy. So what should I do?
Okay, so for that, Sumayya, do you want to answer?
No, it's all right, go.
Okay, so first thing, we're always here for you. You can always, get us on a call. You can text us on Instagram. You can text us we can give you our contacts as well. We're always here for you. And also, so the thing is, what I've been doing recently is that even I've not been able to meet a lot of friends recently, and I usually get them on a call. I schedule calls with them so that I can just vent out to them. There's voice messages. So the thing you can do right now, the best thing is get into contact with them through, like Zoom or WhatsApp or Instagram. And just, it's not always, you can also try journaling because that's really cool. You can, and in order to like keep yourself busy and not think about like, anxiety, you can also keep yourself busy with other things like you have a blog, you can start a blog, you can start, maybe a YouTube, or you could just start anything, writing. You could take part in a lot of writing. We are taking part in a lot of writing programs. So if you guys want to know about them and applications and stuff, you can hit us up and we can let you know on Instagram. Sanya, if you could lower your hand. I hope that answered your question. We're always here to talk to you. So just hit us up on Instagram and we'll be there for you. Anyone else who has a question? Or should I just address like one or two from? Okay, Arya. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right.
I'm always scared of doing anything. So what should I do? I keep on judging myself, and even if people say anything good about me, I'm just like, no, they're lying.
Okay, Sumayya, do you want to answer that, or should I?
Yeah, I think, well, what do you really feel scared of in like specifically, right?
I think everything in general.
Okay, well, that's kind of difficult. I can get that. But I think you should try to sit down and like pinpoint what your fear is, because everything in general is really broad. And that's why we had those worksheets, right? It's to try and find the source of your anxiety so you can kind of try to tackle it slowly. Because if you get to the source, it becomes easier to deal with these things.
Yep.
I hope that helped. Are there any more questions?
Yeah, and also one more thing I'd just like to add, it's also important to just tell yourself what your good things about yourself are, like this positive self-talk activity that we had. So, you know, because you will have something that, you know, that people find interesting, that people love about you and you love about you. So just try to remind yourself of, you know, what your good points are. That's really important. Okay, can we take a few more questions or are we?
Yeah, I'm really sorry, but we need to wrap up because I'm really sorry because we're on a quite a tight schedule and we've got another session starting shortly after this. But please go and get in touch with these guys on their Instagram, and I'm sure they'll be really happy to answer any of your questions. I found the talk very inspiring, and I'm sure everyone else did too. So thank you very much for your time coming today.
Just a minute, let me just drop my email in the chat box too. So if anyone doesn't have Instagram and etc. So Mujahid 2233, and then I'll drop my WhatsApp as well if you guys wanna.
Okay, wait. I don't know if you should do that.
Wait, can we not do that?
Don't drop your number. Maybe think about it first.
Okay. No, I'm fine with that because as long as I can help people, you know.
All right. Thank you, guys.
I think it would be best
so much
just
fun. Thanks for coming
with
here.
Hey,
Yeah.
someone just said something.
Yeah, I think that was Shannon.
Oh yeah, so I was just saying, yeah, I think it's just best you stick with email and social media. Let's just veer away from the contact information. Just a little bit, just want to say a few quick words. Really thank you guys for your amazing presentation. Just for everyone else, I've dropped below in the chat some links you guys can go to. So if you need any help, feel free to visit our help desk. Or if you want to find out any more about MUN Impact Program, the website link is there, as well as the registration for MUN Home Round 6 has now been opened. So please join. And really thank you guys for such an amazing presentation.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you guys.
It was our pleasure.
Thank you so much. As Shannon said, if you have any questions at any point, we've got a 24-hour help desk about the summit. And then also if you have any questions about this presentation, go and use the links that our presenters put in the chat. So thank you once again for coming, and please feel free to leave now and head on to your next workshops if you have them, and if not, have an excellent day. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.